Hello friends, welcome to the next session on neural networks. Today we'll talk about perceptrons. One of the simplest neural networks. It's a single layer binary classifying neural network. So let's have a glance at neural networks first. A neuron is a mathematical function modeled on the working of biological neurons. We already seen this in our previous lecture, the mathematical model of a neuron. It is an elementary unit in an artificial neural network. It's a basic unit of ANN. Inputs are summed and passed through a non-linear function to produce the output. Fine. Every neuron holds an internal state called activation signal. Each connection link carries information about the input signal. So the each connection link along with the input signal, it also carries a weight. So every neuron is connected to another neuron via a connection link. All these things we have already seen in the previous lecture. So let us see what is perceptron. So perceptron is a neural network unit. We also call it as an artificial neuron that has the ability to learn and solve complex problems. It's a simple network, of course limited. Why? Because it's a single layer model and it's a binary classification algorithm. It's an algorithm for supervised learning of binary classifiers. We have already seen what is supervised learning in the previous lecture. That means in case of supervised learning, the input what we give it to our model, it already has the data along with the label associated to the data. Now this is a simple model of perceptron. We can see inputs, that is x1 to xm. These are the inputs to the model, and each input link has the weights associated with it. You can see with x1 input, weight is w1, with x2 it is w2. Then this is bias, right? Which is always 1. And even we can have weight associated with it, that is w0. All these things are given to the input function. So multiplication of x1 and w1, that is product of input and the weights, is summed up, right? And bias is added to it. This is your input function. The same thing here, right? Input is from 1 to m, that is x1 to xm. Fine. What we are doing, we are multiplying weight with the input. So each input's corresponding weight is multiplied and the whole thing is summed up. So the output of this input function is given to the activation function. So activation function is applied to this input of the output of the input function, and what you get is the output. The simple perceptron model. Now, types of perceptrons, you have single layer. So perceptrons can learn only linearly separable patterns. So we'll be talking about single layer perceptrons. Now, the second type is multi-layer perceptron. We also call them as feed-forward neural networks. So it's a group of perceptrons organized in multiple layers that can accurately answer complex questions. Each perceptron in the first layer, you can see here the diagram is given. Each perceptron in the first layer sends signals to the perceptrons in the second layer, and second will send it to the third layer, right? So a multi-layer perceptron consists of an input layer, at least one, it can have more than one. Here it has only one, at least one hidden layer and an output layer. So this is a simple model showing multi-layer perceptrons. Now, perceptron learning, how perceptrons learn, that is how they are trained. Here algorithm would automatically learn the optimal weight coefficients. The inputs are multiplied with the weights to determine if the neuron fires or no. We already know the inputs are multiplied with the weights, right? The perceptron receives multiple input signals, and if the sum of the input signal exceeds a certain threshold, it either outputs a signal or does not return an output. This is what we are doing here, right? It receives a multiple input signals, that is, it is receiving the signals from x I1 to m. These are the number of signals 1 to m, right? So what it is? It is input of xy multiplied with weight wi, and the product is summed up for all the inputs. If the output is greater than or equal to threshold theta, then you get the output as 1. And if it is less than theta, then you get the output as 0. Fine. This enables to distinguish between two linearly separable classes 1 and 0. So whatever input you are giving to your model, right, it is multiplied with the weight, and then after doing this summation, if the output is greater than what you have specified as a threshold, we'll classify it as belonging to class 1. If it is less than the threshold theta, then we call it as it belongs to class 0. So any data when you input, either it will belong to class 1 or it will belong to class 0. So we call it as binary classifier. This each iteration through the training set is an epoch. The first time when you give the input, it will have some initial weights, it will multiply, it will check, and it will classify the input data set into two classes, either 0 or 1. And once the classification is given, we'll check it with the actual one, whether the output what we have got is what is expected. If it is not the same, then again we go back, change the weights. Input is not changed, input remains as it is. We just change the weights and recalculate everything and see whether the data set is correctly classified. That is training until total training set error ceases to improve. And the number of times you train, number of times you go back and change your weights is nothing but the number of epochs, number of times your model is trained. Now, what is perceptron function? Perceptron is a function that maps its input x, which is multiplied with the learned weight coefficient, and output value fx is generated. So this is what we talked about previously also, right? Fx is your perceptron function. Here weight is multiplied with the input x, and then a bias is added. If it is greater than 0, the output is 1, otherwise the output is 0. Here W is nothing but the vector of real valued weights, right? It's a set of weights, right, corresponding to set of inputs x values, right? And B is the bias. I have written in detail about the bias so that you all can read and you can understand. It's an element that adjusts the boundary away from origin without any dependence on the input value. So it is independent of the input. Fine. Now, what is M? M is the number of inputs to the perceptrons. We can see the number of inputs are from 1 to M, weight multiplied with the input, right? So the output can be represented as 1 or 0. It can also be represented as 1 or -1, depending on which activation function we are using. Now, how do perceptrons work? I already explained it. Now, again, let us repeat it. Attributes of the dataset, that is the features for an example, are given as input to the perceptron. These input features get multiplied by the corresponding weights. That input features is x and corresponding weights w. The summation is computed for the value we get after multiplication of each feature with the corresponding weight. This is what we speak here, right? Each feature with the corresponding weight. The product is summed up for number of inputs. Now, the value of the summation is added to the bias, right? The activation function is applied to the new value. So you get the output. Now, inputs to a perceptron. All the features become input for a perceptron. All the features is nothing but the attributes of a data set are the inputs to a perceptron. So here how the input is denoted? Input is denoted as x1, x2, x3, xn, right? Now it may be the marks of the students to take the result as pass or fail. So it may be subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, right? So these will be the inputs, where x represents the feature value and m represents the total number of features. So if you have the whole class of 60 students, then m will be 60, right? And the subjects, if it is MCA, then it will be 5. It is MSc, then it will be x1 to x4. For MCA, it will be from x1 to x5. Fine. Now, this is a special kind of input called the bias. We have taken the value of bias as 1. We already know now what is bias, okay? A Boolean output is based on inputs such as pass. As I said, if you are giving the input as the subjects, right? of some MSc or MCA students. Now, looking at the marks in each subject, it will be classifying the student whether he is passing or he is failing. So he's passing, yes or no. Fine. Even a simple example, we do know, like even in the filling in the form, married, yes or no, whether you are vegan, yes or no, right? So these perceptrons are basically binary classifiers. It will classify the data into two classes, right? Yes or no, 0 or 1, right? True or false, etc. The summation function sigma multiplies all inputs of x by weight w and then adds them up as follows. We already know this now. This is bias weight, right? Now input x1 corresponding weight w1, input x2 corresponding weight w2. Fine. Now initially we start with the value of weights with some initial value, and these weights get updated for each training error. Now simple example as we talked about, now let us say these are the marks of your neural network artificial intelligence paper, right? And some weight is assigned initially. This may be of your mobile computing paper, right? This may be a web technology paper, like this, right? Now, once I give the marks and the weights are fed to the network, the output of result, suppose this is a record corresponding to student S1, right? When it is fed to the perceptron, looking at the input, I know the student has passed, but when I give the input to the perceptron, I get the output as student has failed. That means that I need to change these weights, because input cannot change. Input are my marks, right? But I can always change the weights. So I change the weights and again I recalculate and I check whether the output is giving as pass or fail. If it is giving pass, then my model is trained. Otherwise, I'll need to readjust the weights till I get the output as pass. Is it fine? Now, activation functions of the perceptron. The activation function applies a step rule, that is convert the numerical output into +1 or -1. For what? To check if the output of the weighing function is greater than 0 or not. Now there are three types of activation functions what we use for perceptrons. That one is, the first one is the step function, which gets triggered above a certain value of the neuron's output, else it outputs 0. So if it gets triggered, then you get 1. If doesn't get triggered, then the output is 0. Similarly, sine function, it outputs +1 or -1 depending on whether neurons output is greater than 0 or not, right? This is, if it is greater than 0, then +1, otherwise it is -1. Then the another type, the most famous one, like, is the sigmoid one. Sigmoid function, it is a S curve and outputs the value between 0 and -1. Now, output of the perceptron, the weighted summation is passed to the step, that is activation function, and whatever value we get after computation is our predicted output. That is the activation function you apply to the input function. Fine. Now weights. Wi contribution of input xi to the perceptron output. We already know corresponding weight. W0 is the bias or the threshold, right? If the summation of product of weight and input is greater than 0, then the output is +1, else it is -1. The neuron gets triggered only when weighted input reaches a certain threshold value. We already seen that theta, right? An output of +1 specifies that the neuron is triggered. An output of -1 specifies that the neuron did not trigger. Fine. Now, what is the error in perceptron? Why you need, this is what we need to train actually. In perceptron learning rule, the predicted output is compared with the known output, right? What we are getting an output from the model and what is expected. Like the example what we took of passing of the student. We know the student should pass, but what we are getting an output is failing. So there's a difference. If it does not match, the error is propagated backward to allow weight adjustment to happen. So this is just an overview of what we spoke just now. So what is perceptron? An algorithm which is supervised, and it's a single layer binary linear classifier, right? And here the weights are adjusted automatically for the neural network to, for the perceptron to learn. Now weights are multiplied with the input features, that is the input attributes or the input values, and decision is made if the neuron is fired or not. That means you should get the output as 1 or you get 0 or less than 0. Activation function applies a step rule to check if the output of the weighing function is greater than 0, right? Now, linear decision bond is drawn, enabling the distinction between the two linearly separable classes +1 and -1. This is possible by applying your activation function because output will be either +1 or -1. If the sum of the input signals exceeds a certain threshold, it outputs a signal, otherwise there is no output. This is what? If the output function, whatever the output is more than the threshold, then you will get +1 or it is activated. Otherwise, it is not activated, there is no output. Now the types of activation functions what we use with the perceptrons is the sine function, step function and the sigmoid function. Remember friends, neural network is one of the most interesting topic in your syllabus. I hope you all are understanding a little bit of it. In the next session, we'll see in Python how do we implement a perceptron. So the concept will be still more clear. Fine. Stay home, stay safe. In the meantime, I might give you some assignments. I'll mail you all on the group. Thank you.